whether the dominoes are starting to fall with the news of Klopp's departure, because this is Virgil van Dijk speaking about his future. He said, that's a big question. Well, I don't know. The club will have a big job on their hands. That is well known. To replace the manager and replace not only the manager, the staff is leaving, and there are so many things that will change. So the club has a big job on its hands, and I'm very curious which direction that will go in. But when that will be announced, we will see our situation. Is this a big deal, what he said, Craig?
Not at the moment, but I think we're going to see more and more of this. I think, you know, as questions come out about not only who the new manager is going to be, who's going to stay, what Liverpool's policy is going to be, particularly with players in their 30s, you know, like Virgil van Dijk, like Mo Salah. What do you do about a new contract? So I don't think this is unusual. And of course, players will try and use anything they can to get the best deal they can out of the football club. I mean, Jurgen Klopp's not going to manage anywhere soon. He's not. For whatever everybody thinks, right? The 2 and 2 equals 6 brigade. He's not walking out of Liverpool in the summer, slapping them in the face, telling them, and then going to Barcelona, right? He's told them. So it's not like you're going to follow him out the club in the summer to another club. So, you know, what you're going to do? Commit yourself to Liverpool? I mean...
But could he have? Because, listen, the fans are all reeling at the moment from the Jurgen Klopp news. Could he have just said, I'm Liverpool through and through, we'll see what happens with my future, it's not to talk about now, and just at least made them feel better? It's almost as if he's suggesting something there that
players are always talking...
uncertainty.
People are always talking code. That's just the way some people are. I mean, he's got 18 months left in his contract. Mm-hmm. If Liverpool want to have another 18 months out of him, then they can let him go on the free. His value is not going to be anywhere near what it was when they signed him. So I don't know. I just think this is inevitable now that, you know, senior players, big, high asset values are going to be asked about what's your position at Liverpool. And unless they say, oh, I'm totally committed here, not a problem, then there's going to be an angle somewhere in a little story for somebody. But for me at the moment, it's not. It really doesn't have any traction.
All right. Yeah, and what were you about to say?
Well, communication strategy, I do work a lot with that. And I don't think Van Dijk did himself or Liverpool any favours. And I'm with Craig. I understand what he's saying. But there are football stars that don't say anything for months. And then 3 days after Klopp is leaving, you're doing that interview. I thought Van Dijk is honest. I will give him that. He's very honest. But did he have to do it now in terms of timing? He's got 18 months left of his contract. Of course, he didn't have to do that. But, I mean, it's hard to sit here to say that they shouldn't be honest about their situation. But I think that, talking about reading the room, I think, wait a bit. Wait another week or two or do whatever. There is no chance that Van Dijk will be unemployed. So I don't think that strategy of, say, I could be available for anyone in the summer. But we also do know that Jurgen Klopp, with his skill, with his personality, will be one of the main convincers, if that is an English word. He convinced people to stay. And when he is leaving, there will be some players like Salah, like Van Dijk, maybe another young lad, Arnold or Robertson, who's been there all their career, will think, well, if he's leaving, maybe I should look for another challenge too.
Yeah, where do you stand on it, Mario?
Yeah, I think. Look, Van Dijk spoke also because he's also one of the leaders, right? So they went to him and see his point of view. So you have given an answer, but he maybe not be in the luxury situation because you want negotiation to be automatically and without you forcing it. But away from that, for anybody who comes into that job, and because Klopp done extraordinary, for that team, he built everything. I think when you go to the youth system and build the system all the way up to the top, you have like a red thread through the line of Liverpool. But now you're going to change that line. Anyone that comes in, we have seen the likes of Man United, how long they've been fighting for the journey to create it back on. You have seen it happening at, Chelsea maybe it's not, but it's one of the forms. Arsenal has waited for so long. So it's not that easy. And that's why, for me, even if somebody else comes in charge, let's say Trent Alexander now becomes the main figure You still have to rebuild everything, because what he focused on, the passion he brought in, the emotional side that he focused on, because emotionally he really focused on his players to be aware, in the sense of like, you have to be emotional but also be in control of it. And I think like a coach like that focus on so much building, I think his next step for me, like he said, like Greg highlighted, I don't think he's going to take a job really quickly. But for me, what I'll be looking at is, will Klopp take the German job one day? That will be my biggest question for him.
So we know the dugout's going to look different.
What did he say that was that bad, Van Dijk? Because didn't he say, without going over the quote again, didn't he just say, well, we'll see what...
Big job on its hands, and I'm very curious which direction that will go in.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. He didn't, you know... I think
that's a big question. Well, I don't know. I suppose it's the uncertainty.
Because if Jurgen Klopp was still manager and I had 18 months left in my contract, if I was Virgil van Dijk, and I was asked about my situation, I would probably give a similar answer in terms of, well, we'll see what happens going forward, because you don't want to play your cards in the table, whether it's Jurgen Klopp or whether it's anybody else.
But might he be the first? Obviously, it just happened. This is
I know what you're saying. We've already got the dominoes rolling, haven't we?
Yeah, the dominoes. But could it be a completely different looking Liverpool side next season because of this situation, because of Klopp going?
I don't think so, because they've just brought in. Van Dijk's not going anywhere. Konaté's not going anywhere, you don't think. Matip will be back. Alexander-Arnold's not going to go anywhere. Neither's a fit against Tsimikas or Robertson. Szoboszlai's just come in and he's been excellent. McAllister's just come in. Núñez hasn't been in long. We'll probably see. We may see one or two departures, but I honestly don't think we're going to look at Liverpool next year and go at the start of next season in August and go, wow, half the team's changed. I just don't. I don't think a manager's going to come in, whoever it is, and completely rip up this formula, this team. He might put a couple of polish a few of the edges, but I don't think, honestly, there's going to be like a mass walkout or somebody's going to come in and make wholesale changes.
It doesn't happen a lot, though.
Mario, okay.
It doesn't happen a lot. It doesn't happen a lot that coaches go that early. But what I do have to say, give him a compliment. If his staff is changing, he came out so early that everybody that he had involved in his group now, like, give an example. You know, there are people that involved with his staff. They probably have brought families to Liverpool. Now they have all the time and rebuilding their life again, because they might take a step away, because people even highlighting that his staff of people are also going away. So he kind of came out so early to give them the time to rebuild whatever they're going to do next season. And in that sense, I'm like, hey, you want to work for someone that also considers your private life and not only your football life.
But the problem with you have a strong leader and a very dominant leader like Sir Alex Ferguson. When Sir Alex Ferguson left Manchester United, you could have the same players, but you realize, wow, the culture we have built up, that was Sir Alex Ferguson. You saw that in Werder Bremen in Germany. You have Otto Rehhagel when he left after 15 years. Wow, the culture was Otto Rehhagel. So the big question for Liverpool now, when Klopp is leaving, I think they will keep their players. The players have contracted 25, so it's up to them to stay. So they still got the cards in their hands. But how strong is the Liverpool culture? Liverpool has been through that before. They went from Shankly to Paisley to Fagan to Dalglish, but then it stopped. So is this the moment where that culture, how strong is that culture? And it's interesting that Liverpool is saying, and I think that is a good signal, they say we're going to start with a sport director, and then the sport director is going to be involved in picking the coach, meaning that they want to build that Liverpool culture. That is because some of the alternatives to take them on, who are so far from the Liverpool culture, I don't think there is any chance that some of them will come there. And that's why I ended up saying the other night, the only one who is close to that kind of leadership is Postecoglou.
And they are still going for, I believe they're going for 4 trophies this year. So it's not...
None of this is going to be a distraction to that.
No, I don't think so.
What, players talking about their future and whatnot?
Players always talk about the future.
Yeah.
Players always talk about...
Do you think he wants to walk away, Craig, with the league, or you think the Champions League? One of the two. Which one? Because I think his focus will be the league.
I think he wants to be the top team in England again. Bearing in mind Arsenal have been strong and Man City are strong. I think that's the one he really wants. And ironically, Mario, I think that's going to be the one that's going to be the toughest to get for him, because he's in the Carabao Cup final against a Chelsea side that haven't been the strongest, the FA Cup, and then the Europa League. And you have to excuse me if you hear somebody coughing today
it's not me,
in the background. It is me. I got this dozen. So yes, I think he definitely. I think if he could deliver the second league title in 30 years or something about, that would be a huge way for them to go out. Him to go out.